The massive alien ship appeared above Earth without warning. Its dark metal hull stretched for kilometers, casting shadows over entire cities as it hung in the sky like a giant sword. Captain Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Station, watching the impossible sight through the main screen. His hands shook as he reached for the communication button. "All stations, this is Captain Hyunwoo. We have contact. Repeat, we have first contact." The alien ship sent a message in perfect English. The voice was cold and mechanical, speaking words that would change humanity forever. "People of Earth, you will prepare for the arrival of Ambassador Vorthak of the Galactic Empire. Your leaders will come to our ship. You have 1 day to prepare." President Minsu called an emergency meeting. The best minds on Earth gathered in the underground bunker beneath Seoul. Ambassador Taemin, a man who had spent his life talking to difficult people, would lead the human team. Dr. So Young, Earth's top expert on alien life, would study these visitors. Commander Ji-ho from Luna Base would handle security. The next morning, Ambassador Taemin and his team took a shuttle to the alien ship. The inside was like nothing humans had ever seen. The walls glowed with strange symbols. The air smelled of metal and something else they could not name. Giant creatures in armor led them through halls that seemed to go on forever. Ambassador Vorthak waited in a room the size of a football stadium. He was 3 meters tall with 6 arms and skin like black stone. His voice boomed when he spoke. "I am Ambassador Vorthak of the Galactic Empire. Your species is now under our protection. You will follow our rules and give us what we need. In return, we will not destroy your world." Ambassador Taemin tried to stay calm. "What exactly do you want from us?" Vorthak smiled, showing teeth like broken glass. "Simple things. Every year you will give us 1 million of your strongest people. They will work in our factories and fight in our armies. You will mine metals from your world and send them to us. You will build only the machines we allow. In return, we will give you some of our old technology." Dr. So Young watched the alien carefully. Something about his words did not feel right. She noticed how he talked about protection like it was a gift, but his eyes showed no kindness. "What if we refuse?" Ambassador Taemin asked. Vorthak's smile grew wider. "Look at your sky, human. Count our ships." Through the ship's windows, they could see more alien vessels appearing, hundreds of them, each one larger than anything humans had ever built. The message was clear. "You have 7 days to decide," Vorthak said. "Choose wisely." Back on Earth, the team met with President Minsu. Commander Ji-ho had been listening to alien radio signals from Luna Base. His face was pale when he spoke. "They think we are nothing. I heard them talking. They call us primitive meat and useful animals. They have done this to 47 other worlds. Every species that said yes is now basically slaves." Dr. So Young showed them her notes. "I studied their behavior and their technology. They are strong, but they have weaknesses. Their weapons are made to fight other advanced aliens. They might not work as well against our simpler weapons. Also, they are used to easy victories. They have never fought anyone who really fights back." Ambassador Taemin shook his head. "But look at their numbers. We have maybe 1,000 ships. They have hundreds of thousands." Captain Hyunwoo had been quiet during the meeting. Finally, he spoke. "Numbers don't always win wars. Remember David and Goliath? Sometimes the small guy wins because the big guy expects an easy fight." President Minsu looked around the room at Earth's best people. "So what are you all saying? That we should tell the most powerful empire in the galaxy to go away?" "Yes," Dr. So Young said. "Because if we don't, humanity dies anyway. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but slowly. They will take our children, our resources, our freedom. In 100 years, there will be no real humans left." Commander Ji-ho nodded. "I have been watching their ships. They are powerful, but they follow patterns. They always do the same things because they always win. If we can surprise them, we might have a chance." Captain Hyunwoo stood up. "Then we fight. But we need to be smart about it. We can't win by playing their game. We need to make our own rules." President Minsu was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "If we do this, millions of people might die. If we don't do this, billions will become slaves," Ambassador Taemin replied. The next day, Ambassador Taemin returned to the alien ship. This time he carried Earth's answer. Vorthak waited in the same giant room surrounded by his guards. "Have you decided, human?" Taemin stood as tall as he could. "We have. Earth rejects your offer. We will not become slaves." Vorthak's face showed surprise, then anger. "You choose death over service? Your species is more foolish than I thought." "Maybe," Taemin said. but we would rather die free than live as slaves. The alien ambassador stood up, his full height making him look like a mountain. Very well. You have chosen your fate. In 1 year, our war fleet will come. We will take your world and everything on it. Those who survive will wish they had accepted our generous offer. As the human team left the alien ship, Dr. So Young whispered to Captain Hyun-woo, 1 year. Can we get ready in 1 year? Hyun-woo looked up at the alien fleet filling Earth's sky. We have to, because if we can't, this is the last year humanity will be free. That night, President Min-soo spoke to the world. He told everyone about the aliens and their demands. He explained the choice they had made. Some people were afraid, some were angry, but many were ready to fight. We are human, the president said. We have always faced impossible odds. Our ancestors fought wild animals with sticks. They crossed oceans in wooden boats. They built cities in deserts and farms on frozen ground. They never gave up, and neither will we. In secret bunkers around the world, scientists and engineers began to work. They had 1 year to build weapons that could fight gods. 1 year to prove that humans were more than just clever animals. 1 year to show the galaxy that some things were worth dying for. The war for humanity's future had begun. 18 months had passed since Earth rejected the Galactic Empire's offer. The alien ships still filled the sky, but now they moved closer each day. Small scout ships appeared near Mars, then near the Moon, testing Earth's defenses like wolves circling a campfire. Admiral Sung Jin commanded Earth's space forces from a secret base inside an asteroid. He was the best military mind humanity had, but even he knew the truth. Earth had maybe 5 years before the real invasion came. 5 years to build a miracle. The miracle had a name. Project Titan's Hammer. Dr. Yunji worked 20 hours a day in the hidden laboratories beneath Luna Base. The alien technology they had captured was like trying to read a book written by gods. Every piece was more advanced than anything humans had built. But Dr. Yunji was learning their secrets. The aliens make everything too complicated, she told Engineer Daeho during one of their rare breaks. Their ships have energy shields that can stop their advanced weapons. But our old-fashioned bullets and rockets? Their shields don't know how to handle them. Daeho smiled. He was the man building humanity's secret weapon on the dark side of the moon. So we build a ship that fights like a human, not like an alien. The ship they were building was bigger than anything Earth had ever made. It was not pretty like the alien vessels. It looked like a giant metal brick covered in gun turrets. But inside it carried weapons that could crack planets. Dr. Yunji had invented new kinds of guns that shot metal bullets at incredible speed. She called them railguns. The bullets moved so fast they hit with the power of nuclear bombs. She also made fusion torpedoes that could fly through alien energy shields like they were not there. But building the ship was dangerous work. The Empire had spies everywhere. Captain Yujin ran Earth's intelligence network. She was small and quiet. The kind of person others forgot was in the room. That made her perfect for finding secrets. She had discovered something important. Not all aliens in the Empire were happy. The Empire has 12 different species, she reported to Admiral Sung Jin. But only the Vextari actually rule. The other 11 are conquered people who have given up hope. Some of them hate the Empire as much as we do. Captain Yu Jin had been talking secretly to aliens from these conquered worlds. They worked in the Empire's factories and armies, but their hearts were not loyal. They were waiting for someone to prove the Empire could be beaten. The project faced its biggest danger when Empire spy drones found the construction site. Captain Jae-sung led the mission to destroy them, before they could send information back to the Empire. Jae-sung was a pilot who could fly anything with wings or rockets. His team of 12 fighters faced 50 alien drones in the space between Earth and Moon. The drones were fast and smart, but they were built to spy, not fight. Remember, Jae-sung told his pilots over the radio, we can't let even one of these things escape. If they report what they saw, the Empire will attack before we're ready. The battle lasted 3 hours. Human fighters dodged between asteroids using every trick they knew. One by one, the alien drones died in bursts of fire and metal. Captain Jae-sung's ship was hit and spinning out of control. But he managed to destroy the last drone with his final missile. The victory bought Earth more time, but it also warned the Empire that humans were more dangerous than expected. In the hidden factories, Engineer Dae-ho pushed his workers harder. The ship was almost complete, but they needed months more to finish. Every day, more alien ships appeared in Earth's sky. Time was running out. How long until the main invasion? Admiral Sung Jin asked Commander Ji-ho during their daily briefing. Ji-ho studied the alien radio signals he intercepted every day. Their language is hard to understand, but I think we have maybe 1 year. They are building a huge fleet. Thousands of ships. Dr. So Young had been studying the Empire's military history. They always use the same plan. First, they send scouts to study the target. Then they send a medium-sized fleet to demand surrender. If that doesn't work, they send everything they have. How big is a medium-sized fleet? Admiral Sung Jin asked. About 200 ships, So Young replied. More than enough to destroy every city on Earth. Admiral Sung Jin looked at the plans for their secret weapon. Will our ship be ready by then? Engineer Dae-ho nodded. The ship will be ready. But we will only have one. One ship against 200. Dr. Yoon-ji had been working on the ship's weapon systems. One ship might be enough. Our weapons are designed to kill their ships quickly. If we can destroy enough of them fast enough, the rest might retreat. Captain Yoo-jin had different concerns. Even if we win the battle, the Empire will send more ships. Eventually, they will destroy us with numbers. Admiral Sung Jin studied the star maps on his wall. Then we need to make sure our victory means something. We need to show the whole galaxy that the Empire can be beaten. 6 months later, the ship was finally complete. They called it the Indomitable, because that was what humanity needed to be. The ship was 3 kilometers long and carried enough weapons to fight a small war. Its armor was thick enough to stop alien energy beams. Its engines could push it faster than any human ship had ever moved. But its most important weapon was not made of metal or energy. Its most important weapon was the message it would send to the galaxy. Humans do not surrender. Dr. Yoon-ji ran the final tests on the ship's systems. Everything worked perfectly. The railguns could punch through the strongest alien armor. The fusion torpedoes could destroy ships 10 times larger than themselves. The electromagnetic pulse weapons could shut down alien computers from 1,000 kilometers away. Engineer Dae-ho walked through the ship one last time before it launched. Every bolt, every wire, every piece of equipment was perfect. This ship would carry humanity's hopes into the darkness between stars. Admiral Sung Jin took command of the Indomitable on a cold morning in December. As the ship left Earth's orbit, millions of people watched from the ground. They knew this might be the last time they saw their protectors leave for battle. The ship headed toward the edge of the solar system, where Earth's early warning stations reported new contacts approaching. The Empire's test fleet was coming, just as Dr. So Young had predicted. Captain Yoo-jin sent final messages to her alien contacts throughout the Empire. Watch the sky, she told them. The humans are coming, and we are going to show you that empires can fall. The Indomitable disappeared into the darkness, carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire species. Behind it, Earth continued to build more ships, more weapons, more hope. But everyone knew the truth. If the Indomitable failed, none of it would matter. In the cold space beyond Neptune, sensors detected the approaching enemy. 200 alien ships, confident in their power, expecting an easy victory over primitive humans. They were about to learn that humans were full of surprises. The Third Fleet of the Galactic Empire arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system like a storm made of metal and fire. 200 massive ships moved in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with the kind of technology that had conquered 47 worlds without losing a single battle. War Marshal Kethavar commanded from his flagship, the Pride of Vorthak. The ship was 2 kilometers long and carried enough weapons to turn a planet into dust. Kethavar had never known defeat. In his 300 years of service, he had watched lesser species kneel before the Empire's might. Today would be no different. Begin standard intimidation protocol, Kethavar ordered his crew. The alien words echoed through the command center as officers moved to their stations. Position the fleet in attack formation 7. Let these humans see what real power looks like. The Empire's ships spread across space like a web of death. Their energy shields glowed with deadly light. Their weapon ports opened like hungry mouths. Every ship was a masterpiece of destruction, built by a civilization that had forgotten what it meant to lose. Admiral Sung Jin watched the enemy fleet from the bridge of the Indomitable. His ship looked small compared to the alien monsters, like a shark swimming among whales. But Dr. Yoon-ji had built this shark to bite through anything. They're following their standard pattern, reported Commander Ji-ho from the communications station. Same formation they used on Kepler 442 and Ross 128. They think this will be easy. Dr. So Young studied the alien ships through the sensors. Look at their positioning. They're not ready for a real fight. They expect us to surrender when they make their speech. Admiral Sung Jin nodded. The aliens always did the same thing. First, they would demand surrender. Then they would demonstrate their power by destroying a few military targets. Finally, they would give the defenders one more chance to give up before the real attack began. Let them think we're just another scared species, Sung Jin ordered. We need them close before we show them what humans can do. The Indomitable waited in the shadow of Jupiter, its weapons powered down, its engines quiet. To alien sensors, it looked like nothing more than an unusually large human ship hiding behind the gas giant. War Marshal Kethvar opened a communication channel to Earth. His voice boomed across space, carrying the weight of 3,000 years of Imperial victory. People of Earth, I am War Marshal Kethvar of the Third Fleet. Your time of independence is over. Surrender now and we will be merciful. Resist and we will turn your world into a tomb, President Minsu replied from Earth. His voice was steady, showing no fear. We rejected your empire's offer before. Our answer has not changed. Earth will never surrender. Kethvar laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Foolish creatures. You cannot even imagine our power. Watch and despair. The War Marshal ordered 3 ships to demonstrate Imperial might. They fired energy beams at Earth's moon, carving deep craters in the ancient rock. The display of power was meant to terrify, to show humanity that resistance was hopeless. But Admiral Sung Jin was not impressed. He had seen these weapons in action. They were powerful, but they were designed to fight other energy-based civilizations. Dr. Yunji's analysis had been correct. The Empire's technology was too advanced for its own good. All stations, this is Admiral Sung Jin. He spoke into the ship's communication system. Today we show the galaxy what humans are made of. Today we prove that freedom is stronger than fear. The Indomitable moved out from behind Jupiter like a metal ghost. Its engines blazed with fusion fire as it accelerated toward the Imperial fleet. The alien ships detected it immediately, but they were not concerned. One human ship against 200 Imperial vessels seemed like a joke. War Marshal Kethvar studied the approaching ship on his screens. It was crude compared to Imperial technology, built with sharp angles and ugly lines, but something about it made him uncomfortable. What are those weapon ports? He asked his tactical officer, unknown design War Marshal. They appear to be some kind of kinetic launcher. Very primitive, Kethvar relaxed. Kinetic weapons were ancient technology. Imperial shields could stop anything the humans might throw at them. The Indomitable closed to optimal firing range. Admiral Sung Jin looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. These were the best humans had to offer. Engineers, scientists, soldiers who had volunteered to risk everything for their species' freedom. Remember, Sung Jin told them, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every species that has ever been enslaved by the Empire. Today we show them all that tyrants can fall. Dr. Yunji's voice came over the intercom from the Weapons Control Center. All systems ready, Admiral. Railguns are charged. Fusion torpedoes are loaded. EMP weapons are standing by. Fire, Admiral Sung Jin ordered. The Indomitable's weapons spoke with the voice of thunder. 20 railguns fired at once, launching tungsten rods at incredible speed. The bullets moved so fast they became invisible streaks of destruction, hitting Imperial shields with the force of small suns. The aliens' energy barriers, designed to stop energy beams and plasma bolts, had no defense against solid metal moving at nearly the speed of light. The tungsten rods punched through shield after shield like they were made of paper. The first Imperial ship died in a burst of fire that lit up the darkness. Then the second. Then the third. War Marshal Kethvar stared at his screens in shock. Impossible. Our shields are impenetrable. But the human ship was just getting started. Fusion torpedoes streaked across space, their warheads designed to bypass energy defenses entirely. Electromagnetic pulse weapons shut down Imperial computers, leaving their ships floating helpless in the void. The pride of Vorthak shook as human weapons found their mark. Kethvar felt real fear for the first time in 3 centuries. All ships concentrate fire on that human vessel. Destroy it now! The Imperial fleet turned its weapons on the Indomitable. Energy beams and plasma bolts lit up space like a deadly fireworks show. But Dr. Yunji had built the human ship to survive this moment. Its armor was layers of metal and ceramic designed to absorb and scatter energy attacks. The Indomitable took hit after hit, but kept fighting. Its weapons never stopped firing, picking off Imperial ships one by one. Each victory was a message broadcast across the galaxy. The Empire could bleed. Captain Yujin monitored communications from across Imperial space. The news was spreading faster than light through alien communication networks. A primitive human ship was destroying the Third Fleet. Species that had lived under Imperial rule for thousands of years were watching their oppressors die. The battle raged for 3 hours. Imperial ships burned and exploded as human weapons tore them apart. War Marshal Kethver watched his perfect fleet die around him, unable to understand how primitive kinetic weapons could defeat advanced Imperial technology. Finally, the Pride of Vorthak itself came under direct attack. Railgun rounds smashed through its hull, setting off chain reactions throughout the ship. Kethvar had time for one final transmission before his flagship exploded. "Impossible," he whispered as the flames consumed him. "We are the Empire. We cannot lose," but they had lost. Of the 200 ships that had come to conquer Earth, only 37 escaped. They limped back toward Imperial space, carrying news that would shake the galaxy. Humanity had won. Admiral Sung Jin stood on the bridge of the damaged but victorious Indomitable. Around him, his crew cheered and cried and held each other. They had done the impossible. They had defeated the Empire. "Send a message to Earth," Sung Jin ordered. "Tell them we won. Tell them humanity is still free." But he knew this was just the beginning. The Empire would not accept this defeat. They would come again with more ships, more weapons, more anger. The real war was just starting. On worlds throughout the galaxy, conquered species looked up at their skies with new hope. For the first time in thousands of years, they dared to dream of freedom. The humans had shown them something they thought was lost forever. Empires could fall. The Third Fleet was gone, but its death would echo across the stars for generations to come. News of the Third Fleet's destruction spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On every Imperial world, alien beings who had lived as slaves for generations whispered the impossible truth. The humans had won. The Empire could be defeated. Emperor Vorthak the Eternal sat on his crystal throne, 800 years old and ruler of more worlds than he could count. His massive form shook with rage as he read the reports. One primitive human ship had destroyed an entire Imperial fleet. Such a thing had never happened before. "Bring me Admiral Zekthor," the Emperor commanded. His voice boomed through the throne room, making the crystal walls vibrate. "And summon the War Council. These humans will pay for their defiance." But while the Emperor planned revenge, the galaxy was already changing. Captain Yujin monitored communications from her secret base on Luna, listening to the voices of revolution spreading across space. On Kepler 442b, homeworld of the aquatic Zenth people, factory workers stopped their machines for the first time in 2,000 years. The Zenth had built the ships that conquered their own world, forced to create the weapons used to enslave other species. Now they watched those same ships burning in human fire, and hope stirred in their water-filled cities. Captain Jae Sung led the liberation of Kepler 442b, 6 months after the battle at Earth. His small fleet of human ships, built with lessons learned from the Indomitable's victory, appeared in orbit around the blue-green world. The Imperial garrison tried to fight, but their 20 ships stood no chance against weapons designed to kill gods. "People of Zenth," Jae Sung broadcast in their musical language, "you are free. The Empire's power is broken. Join us, and together we will free the galaxy." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Zenth engineers who had been forced to build Imperial weapons for centuries turned their skills to revolution. Within days, they were building new ships armed with human railguns and fusion torpedoes. The aquatic beings sang songs of joy that had not been heard for 2 millennia. Admiral Sung Jin did not wait for the Empire to recover. The Indomitable, repaired and upgraded with captured Imperial technology, began a campaign of liberation that struck fear into the hearts of tyrants across the galaxy. Each victory was broadcast to every world, showing that Imperial ships could burn just like any other. Dr. Yunji worked tirelessly to improve human weapons. The Indomitable became more powerful after each battle, combining the best of human engineering with alien technology. She developed new kinds of railguns that could fire multiple rounds per second, and fusion torpedoes that could track their targets across vast distances. The pattern repeated on world after world. Imperial garrisons that had ruled through fear for centuries suddenly faced rebellions they could not stop. The Rigel system threw off imperial rule when its mining slaves saw human ships destroy their oppressors. The agricultural worlds of Tau Ceti stopped sending food to imperial core worlds, demanding freedom in exchange for grain. But the Empire's response was swift and brutal. Emperor Vorthak deployed punishment fleets to crush the rebellions. Entire worlds were burned from orbit as examples to others who might consider resistance. The Emperor's message was clear: rebel and die. "We cannot be everywhere at once," Admiral Sung Jin told his command staff during a strategy meeting aboard the Indomitable. "The Empire still has thousands of ships. We've hurt them, but we haven't crippled them." Captain Yu Jin spread intelligence reports across the table. "The rebellions are spreading faster than they can suppress them." "But you're right, Admiral. As long as the Emperor lives, as long as the core worlds remain loyal, the Empire can rebuild." Dr. So Young had been studying Imperial history for months. The Emperor is more than just a ruler. He's a symbol of Imperial power. As long as he remains untouchable, some species will always believe the Empire cannot truly fall. Admiral Sung Jin understood what she was suggesting. "You want us to attack the Imperial capital? That's suicide. They have thousands of ships defending the core worlds." "Not thousands," So Young replied. "Intelligence suggests the Emperor is assembling a grand fleet for a final assault on Earth. 5,000 ships under his personal command. If he brings that fleet to us, the capital worlds will be lightly defended." Engineer Daeho had been working on modifications to the Indomitable. "The ship can take more damage than it did in the first battle. I've added new armor and better weapons. But 5,000 ships? That's not a battle, that's execution." Captain Yujin smiled grimly. "Unless we turn it into something else. I've been in contact with resistance groups throughout the Empire. They're waiting for the right moment to strike. If the Emperor brings his entire fleet to Earth and loses it here, the rebellions will explode across every Imperial world at once." Admiral Sung Jin studied the star charts. Earth lay at the edge of Imperial space, far from the core worlds but close to dozens of recently conquered systems. It was the perfect place for a symbolic victory that would be seen across the galaxy. "So we make our stand here," he decided. "We let the Emperor come to us with everything he has, and we show the galaxy that even the Emperor himself can bleed." The message went out through secret channels to every resistance group, every enslaved world, every being who dreamed of freedom. The humans would make their final stand above Earth. Win or lose, it would be the battle that decided the galaxy's future. Emperor Vorthak received the human challenge with cold fury. These primitive creatures dared to threaten him personally. Very well, he would come to their pathetic world with the First Fleet, his personal armada of 5,000 ships. He would burn their world to ash and scatter their atoms across space. The galaxy would remember what happened to those who defied the Empire. "Prepare the Eternal Dominion for departure," the Emperor commanded. His personal Dreadnought was the largest ship ever built, a mobile fortress that had never been damaged in 800 years of conquest. "We sail for Earth. This ends now." As the massive Imperial fleet gathered at the core worlds, Admiral Sung Jin made his own preparations. The Indomitable could not defeat 5,000 ships in conventional battle. But this would not be a conventional battle. Dr. Eunji had one final modification to make, one last gift to humanity's defenders. The ship was always designed as a weapon of psychological warfare, she explained to the crew. Now it becomes something more. A symbol of everything the Empire fears, a species that refuses to kneel. Captain Jae-sung commanded the small fleet of human and alien ships that had gathered at Earth, freed Zenth vessels with their flowing lines. Captured Imperial ships converted to fight for freedom, crude human cruisers built in secret factories. It was not much compared to the Emperor's armada, but it was enough to send a message. The message was simple. We are here, we are free, and we will never surrender. In the depths of space between galaxies, ancient sensors detected the approaching storm. The first fleet of the Galactic Empire moved toward Earth like a tidal wave of metal and fire. 5,000 ships carrying the fury of a tyrant who had never known defeat. But ahead of them, alone in the darkness, waited a single human ship that had already done the impossible once. The Indomitable hung in space above Saturn's rings. waiting for the battle that would decide whether freedom or tyranny ruled the galaxy. Admiral Sung Jin stood on his bridge, watching the sensor readings as the enemy fleet approached. His crew was ready. His ship was ready. Humanity was ready. The Emperor was coming, and he would learn what humans did to tyrants. The Battle of Saturn's Rings began at dawn on Earth, though space knew no sunrise. Emperor Vorthak the Eternal arrived with 5,000 ships, the largest war fleet in galactic history. His personal Dreadnought, the Eternal Dominion, was larger than a city, bristling with weapons that could crack moons. Admiral Sung Jin waited alone above Saturn's ice rings with the Indomitable. His ship looked like a tiny metal splinter against the massive Imperial Armada, spreading across space like a mechanical plague. But inside that splinter burned the heart of human determination. "Open a channel to all Imperial ships," Sung Jin ordered. "It's time to send our message." The Emperor's ancient face appeared on screens throughout the Imperial fleet. 800 years of absolute power had made him believe he was immortal, untouchable. His voice carried the arrogance of someone who had never truly been challenged. "I am Emperor Vorthak the Eternal, ruler of the galaxy, master of 10,000 worlds. You will surrender immediately, or I will erase your pathetic species from existence." Admiral Sung Jin's response was calm and steady. "I am Admiral Sung Jin of the Earthship Indomitable. We reject your empire, we reject your rule, and we reject your existence. This ends today." The Emperor laughed, a sound like breaking stone. "One ship against 5,000. You are either brave or insane." "We are human," Sung Jin replied. "Sometimes that's the same thing." Dr. Yunji activated the Indomitable's final weapon from the engineering deck. It was not a gun or a missile, but something far more dangerous to the Empire, a quantum communicator that could broadcast across the entire galaxy in real time. Every world, every species, every being enslaved by the Empire would watch this battle. "The galaxy is watching," Dr. Yunji announced over the ship's communication system. "Let's show them what freedom looks like." Emperor Vorthak realized what the humans were doing and ordered the immediate destruction of their ship. "Kill them now, before they can spread their poison further?" The Imperial fleet opened fire with enough energy to sterilize a planet. 5,000 ships unleashed hell itself upon the lone human vessel. The space around Saturn blazed with deadly light as energy beams and plasma bolts filled the void. But the Indomitable had not come to run or hide. Admiral Sung Jin ordered full power to engines, racing straight into the heart of the Imperial formation. The ship's armor, designed by engineer Daeho to survive this exact moment, absorbed and deflected the alien weapons while the human ship closed distance with its enemies. "Now," Sung Jin shouted. The Indomitable's railguns spoke with voices of thunder. Tungsten rounds traveling at near light speed punched through Imperial shields like they were made of glass. Fusion torpedoes streaked through space, seeking the massive enemy ships with deadly purpose. EMP weapons shut down alien computers, leaving their vessels helpless in the void. Imperial ships began to die, first dozens, then hundreds. Each explosion was broadcast across the galaxy, showing conquered peoples that their oppressors could burn just like anyone else. The message was simple but revolutionary. The Empire was not invincible. On worlds throughout the galaxy, rebellions exploded into open warfare. The Zenth people rose up on Kepler 442b, their aquatic cities becoming fortresses of freedom. Mining slaves on the asteroid colonies of Rigel threw down their tools and picked up weapons. Agricultural worlds stopped sending food to Imperial core systems. Emperor Vorthak felt his empire cracking beneath him as he watched one human ship tear apart his greatest fleet. "This is impossible. We are the Empire. We cannot lose." But Admiral Sung Jin was not finished. The Indomitable had been built for this moment, and Dr. Yunji had prepared one final surprise. The ship's fusion reactors began to overload, converting the vessel itself into the largest weapon humanity had ever created. "All hands, prepare for ramming speed," Sung Jin announced to his crew. "We came here to send a message to the galaxy. That message is this: freedom is worth dying for." The Indomitable accelerated toward the Eternal Dominion like a spear thrown by an angry god. Imperial weapons continued to batter the human ship, but nothing could stop its final charge. The crew sang an old Earth song about standing against impossible odds, their voices carrying across the communication channels to every world in the galaxy. Captain Yujin monitored the global broadcasts from her station on Luna Base. Across the Empire, conquered species were rising up as they watched the human ship make its final run. The psychological impact was beyond calculation. If these humans could challenge the Emperor himself, then perhaps freedom was possible for everyone. Emperor Vorthak ordered all remaining ships to protect his flagship, but it was too late. The Indomitable smashed into the Eternal Dominion at near light speed, both ships disappearing in a fusion explosion visible from Jupiter. The light of their deaths became a new star, burning brightly in the darkness as a beacon of hope for the oppressed. The Emperor was dead. The symbol of imperial power had been destroyed by a species he considered primitive. Without his personal authority holding the Empire together, the 12 member species began fighting each other for control. 3,000 years of forced unity collapsed in a matter of hours. Captain Jae-sung led the cleanup operation, coordinating with rebel fleets across the galaxy as Imperial forces surrendered or fled. The remaining ships of the First Fleet, their morale shattered by their Emperor's death, offered no resistance to the growing alliance of free worlds. 1 year later, Ambassador Taemin stood before the first meeting of the Galactic Federation in the rebuilt halls of Earth's United Nations. Representatives from dozens of species sat together as equals, no longer subjects of an empire but partners in a new age of cooperation. The Empire ruled through fear. Taemin addressed the assembly. But fear is temporary. Freedom is eternal. The humans did not fight alone at Saturn's rings. They fought for all of us. Dr. So-young headed the Federation's new research division, working with alien scientists to develop peaceful applications for the weapons that had toppled an empire. Former imperial technology was being used to heal worlds damaged by centuries of oppression, to build schools instead of weapons, to explore the galaxy instead of conquering it. Admiral Hyunwoo, promoted to command the Federation Defense Fleet, oversaw the construction of new ships built with combined human and alien technology. The galaxy was at peace, but the memory of the Empire's tyranny served as a reminder that freedom required constant vigilance. Captain Yujin established the Federation Intelligence Service, not to spy on allies but to ensure that no new empire could rise from the ashes of the old. Her network of agents worked to identify and stop threats to galactic peace before they could grow into something dangerous. Engineer Dai Ho built monuments on a dozen worlds to honor those who had died for freedom. The largest was on Earth, where Admiral Sung Jin's final words were carved in stone for future generations to remember. They stared in terror because they finally understood. Humanity doesn't just fight for survival. We fight for what's right, and that makes us unstoppable. The Galactic Federation grew stronger each year as more species joined voluntarily, drawn by the promise of equality and mutual cooperation. Trade flowed freely between worlds. Knowledge was shared openly. Children of different species played together in parks built where imperial fortresses once stood. But perhaps the most important change was harder to see. Across the galaxy, when parents told their children stories before sleep, they no longer spoke of mighty empires and conquering heroes. Instead, they told tales of a small blue world whose people refused to kneel, of ordinary beings who did extraordinary things when freedom was at stake. The age of empires was over. The age of freedom had begun. And at the center of it all was humanity, no longer the galaxy's newest species but its moral compass, proving that sometimes the smallest light can drive away the greatest darkness. In the depths of space, automated beacons broadcast a simple message to any civilization that might be listening. This galaxy is free. All beings are welcome to join us in peace and equality. Tyranny will not be tolerated. The message was signed by the Galactic Federation, but everyone knew its true authors were the humans of Earth, who had looked at an empire of 10,000 worlds and said, "No, we will not kneel," and the galaxy was forever changed.